Good morning, everyone. Our chair, I was going to say vice, she's coming up the aisle, so.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, and everyone for your patience. I had a family emergency this morning, but good to see everyone. It's an exciting day. I will call this Board of Fire Commissioners meeting to order. It is July 1st. It is 10:01. We'll start for a salute to the flag, and we're going to have our new chief, Chief Edwards, lead us in a salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, if you'll please help us with the roll call.
Are there any there?
Alexis Hill, Chair.
Here.
Jean Herman, Vice Chair.
Here?
Commissioner Clark.
Present.
Commissioner Garcia.
Here.
Commissioner Andriola.
Present.
Fire Chief Richard Edwards.
Here.
Our DA is Jennifer Gustafson.
Present.
You have a quorum, Madam Chair.
Wonderful. And if we could have our new chief come down, we're going to have him please, I will lead him on his oath for office. So come on down. Yes, please. Hi, good to see you. Hi, thank you so much for coming here. Okay, so if you'll repeat after me, and are we raising our right hand? Is that what I need to do?
Yes.
Okay, that would be great. All right, let's make it official. So, I, Richard J. Edwards, okay.
I, Richard J. Edwards.
Thank you. As the Fire Chief of the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District,
As the Fire Chief of the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District,
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Nevada,
swear that I will support the Constitution of the State of Nevada and the Constitution of the United States,
and I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties of Fire Chief. Faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly, and impartially discharge the duties of Fire Chief.
thank you. And I pledge to carry out the duties of Fire Chief
And I pledge to carry out the duties of Fire Chief
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
and I will honor
and I will honor
and respect
and respect
the mission,
the mission,
vision,
vision,
and values of the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District.
and values of the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District.
And I pledge to promote
And I pledge to promote
and protect the best interests of the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District
and protect the best interests of the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District
through fiscal responsibility,
through fiscal responsibility,
honesty,
honesty,
integrity,
integrity,
and loyalty.
and loyalty.
I will at all times respect the property and rights of all men and women,
I will at all times respect the rights of
property
property of all rights,
of all men. Yeah.
property and rights of all men and women,
Thank you. The laws of my country
the laws of my country,
and the members I serve with.
and the members I serve with.
I recognize the badge of my office
I recognize the badge of my office
as a symbol of public faith and trust,
as a symbol of public faith and trust,
and I accept so long as I am true
and I accept it so long as I am true
to the ethics of the fire service.
to the ethics of the fire service.
I do solemnly swear
I do
that I have all the qualifications required
that I have all the qualifications required
of my position,
of my position,
and I accept this self-imposed
and I accept this self-imposed
and self-enforced
and self-enforced
obligation
obligation
as my responsibility,
as my responsibility,
and make these promises so solemnly,
and make these responsibilities so solemnly,
freely,
freely,
and upon my honor.
and upon my honor.
Well, welcome. You are officially our fire chief. What an amazing day.
Well, good morning, everybody. This is truly an exciting and historic day for the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District, and I'm deeply honored and humbled to be a part of this next chapter and serve as your new fire chief. To the Board of Fire Commissioners and the men and women of the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District, thank you for placing your trust in me. I fully recognize that the position I hold today is not just a title, but a responsibility to lead with integrity, courage, and compassion. I also want to express gratitude to those who helped shape my journey to this moment, my mentors, my colleagues, and the firefighters I've served with over the years. I especially want to acknowledge the community and firefighters of the Stockton Fire Department, where I had the privilege of serving as fire chief. Their professionalism, their resilience, and commitment have prepared me well for this next chapter. Most of all, I want to thank my family. I know the last 55 days have been a whirlwind for us. High school graduations, retirements, and moving have been very stressful, and probably not how they all envisioned spending their summers. But you are my rock. Your love sustains me and reminds me why this work matters. I'm excited for the next chapter in our lives and our new community. Truckee Meadows is a region defined by natural beauty, deep community pride, and unique challenges. From the wildland-urban interface risk to regional cooperation needs, the district plays a vital role in protecting the lives, the property, and the environment. I take this responsibility with great respect for those who have come before me. As your fire chief, I will lead with a philosophy rooted in inclusivity, transparency, and collaboration. My ethos is simple: provide the highest level of fire protection and EMS services while taking the very best care of the firefighters and professional staff who deliver them. I believe in empowering our members at every rank, building a culture where innovation is encouraged, professional growth is supported, and every voice is heard. Together, we will continue to grow an organization that is trusted by the public, respected by our peers, and driven by service above self. I'm committed to strengthening our operational readiness, fostering regional partnerships, and ensuring fiscal responsibility. In the coming weeks, I look forward to meeting with each of you, our chief officers, our administrative teams, and our fire crews to help finalize my 180-day plan. I know we will face challenges in the future, and I'm confident that we will meet them head-on with unity, purpose, and courage. To the firefighters and professional staff of Truckee Meadows, I'm proud to stand with you. You represent the very best of public service and know that my door is always open. And to the citizens we serve, thank you for your trust. This is your fire district, and we are here to serve you with excellence and honor each and every day. I'm very excited to get to work. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We are excited to have you here. And we love ceremony around here, so we're going to take a quick break to take a picture, and then we'll resume the meeting. So thank you, everyone, for your patience. Okay, now we will move into item 4, our public comment. Chief Edwards, if you could lead us into that.
Absolutely. Number 4, public comment. Comment heard under this item will be limited to 3 minutes per person and may pertain to matters both on and off the Board of Fire Commissioners' agenda. However, action may not be taken on any matter raised during public comment period until the matter is specifically listed on an agenda as an action item. The board will also hear public comment during individual action items, with comment limited to 3 minutes per person. Comments are to be made to the Board of Fire Commissioners as a whole.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk.
We have lots of people signed in, so I will read 2 names at a time. The second name, please queue up and be ready. First up, we have Tom Daly, followed by Barbara Batza.
Thank you, Commissioners. For the record, Thomas Daly, a Washoe County resident, and I would ask that my comments be entered in today's record. And welcome, Chief Edwards. I fear for the safety of my friends and neighbors in West Washoe Valley who have been without effective fire and EMS services for more than 3 years. Their closest fire station, number 30 Bowers, was closed in August 22, despite a commitment by your predecessor commissioners that Station 30 would not be closed until the planned Washoe Valley Consolidated Station became operational. Promises made, protection denied. Truckee Meadows Station 32 in East Lake, now the closest station to West Washoe Valley, cannot reach neighbors there in time to prevent a catastrophic loss from a structure fire or death as a result of a heart attack or stroke. 32's response time to Washoe Valley is 12 minutes at best. Residents of West Washoe Valley are nonetheless paying for fire taxes without getting effective services. From public reports, we now know that the Consolidated Washoe Valley Station will likely never be built for lack of funding. So what is Plan B? Well, I have a suggestion. Sell the land for the Consolidated Station that you bought 5 years ago for about $500,000. Use those funds to stand up existing TM Station 301 at Bellevue and I-580. Add a manufactured home for the crew quarters, as you did for 12 years for Hidden Valley Station 37. Add the necessary furnishings, equipment, and appliances, and utilities, of course. Cost, about $500,000, and about 150 days to make it happen with the right project manager. If you doubt these cost estimates and timeline, task Chief Edwards to get competing estimates and bring those back to you at your September meeting, no August meeting, for discussion at least and possible action potentially. Staff it thereafter with a crew of 3, use your contingency budget, some of your fuels crews people, and apply for a no-match SAFER grant for 3 years of free money from the federal government. Think outside the box. West Washoe has seen the destruction of more than 4 dozen homes and other structures in wildfires as the Little Valley Fire and Davis wildfire proved. How many more of your constituents must suffer devastation or death for the lack of a fire station in West Washoe Valley? Thank you.
Thank you.
Barbara Batza, followed by Mark Batza.
Good morning. My name is Barbara Batza, and I live in West Washoe Valley. And I'm concerned about my spouses, my neighbors, and my safety. I moved here after retirement for a better lifestyle. I was happy that my residence is 10 minutes from a major hospital. However, since the closure of Fire Station 30, I have 2 questions. How would any member of this board feel if your closest fire and medical services response time is more than twice the national average? Also, most importantly, how was this allowed to happen? I request that the Board of Fire Commissioners keep their promises to the residents of Washoe Valley to either break ground for new consolidated station in 90 days or to immediately equip the volunteer station on Bellevue Road to be a TMFPD career station. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark Batza, followed by Robin Leach.
First, I'd like to thank all of our firefighters here today for your service. We appreciate it very much. My name is Mark Batza. I live in West Washoe Valley, and I'm concerned about my spouse's and my safety. I moved here after retirement for a better lifestyle. I was happy to find that my residence is 10 minutes from a major regional hospital. Unfortunately, that happiness has been diminished since the closure of Fire Station 30. Fire and paramedical services are now more than twice the national average in response time from my residents. I request that the Board of Fire Commissioners keep their promises to the residents of Washoe Valley to either break ground for a new consolidated station within 90 days or to immediately equip the volunteer station on Bellevue Road to be a TM-FPD career station. Thank you.
Thank you.
Robin Leach, followed by Bob Rusk.
First of all, thank you all so much for all your service. My name is Robin Leach. I live in West Washoe Valley, and I'm concerned about my and my friends' and neighbors' safety. I am concerned because we have no access to fire response and/or paramedics response within a safe and reasonable response time to our area, which is to arrive within the prescribed 6-minute response time necessary to preclude destruction of a home from fire or in time to avert a deadly stroke or heart attack. I would like to insist that the Board of Fire Commissioners keep the promises made to the residents of Washoe Valley and either break ground for a new consolidated station in 90 days or, and this seems to be the best solution, to immediately equip the volunteer station on Bellevue Road to be a TMFPD career station. I would like to further add that if you or your loved ones lived in West Washoe Valley and faced the dire response time to a fire or a medical emergency like we do, I firmly believe that this grievous lack of accountability and concern would have been addressed and rectified long ago. And remember, there were promises made and not kept. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob Rusk, followed by Tim Stevens.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bob Rusk here, Washoe Valley. Welcome, Chief Edwards. I've been a member of Washoe Valley. I've lived in Washoe Valley with my wife for the past 45 years. For the past 43 years, we had the best fire protection anybody could have because our home was only 4 driveways away from the old fire station. It was great, and we appreciated that. And then it closed, but there were promises made, not by you, but some other board. And son of a gun, didn't make any sense to me because in the 70s, that was a long time ago, admittedly, when I served on the county commission for 8 years, we never had a commissioner that made a request to get on the next agenda, fire commission or general commission, that we ever turned them down. We may not have agreed with them, or in those days, it was only him, there were no hers, okay? In the my sixth year of the 8th year, we had an election, and we elected a new county commissioner. And it was Jean Stoss, the first woman ever to serve on the Washoe County Commission. And now look what happened. Are we happy? We're going to be real happy before this meeting's out because I know you're going to do the right thing. Keep up the good work. Let that guy move us forward. So not him, but the thousands of constituents that he represents, you represent. Because you care about us just like you care about your own constituents. I know that's the case. So give us some good fire protection. Make it happen. And I'm depending on you to do it. Because you know what? I have more faith in women than I do in men. So,
Thank you.
Tim Stevens, followed by Nancy Davis.
My name's Tim Stevens. I live in Washoe Valley. I'm concerned about my family's safety. I'm nearly 82 years old, not in perfect health. And like others have said, I felt fairly safe with the fire department at Bowers Mansion. But they left abruptly but they did promise that they were building something nearby, which never happened. But currently, I've realized, actually for the last 3 years, that the window of survival for your home or your life is about 8 minutes when you make that phone call saying you're in trouble. That means fire and medical service to my location probably not going to work. And I've been living with this fear now for almost 3 years. As a citizen of Washoe County, I'd like the Board of Commissioners to keep their long overdue promise to break new ground for the fire station and for a new fire station in West Washoe Valley in 90 days, or equip that one on Bellevue, which could be done quickly, immediately, to make it a career station. We've waited long enough. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Nancy Davis, followed by Alan Altman.
Hi, this is kind of a ditto, but my name is Nancy Davis, and I live in West Washoe Valley. I've lived in West Washoe Valley for 20 years. I don't know why the topic of getting a fire station for West Washoe Valley has repeatedly been pulled from the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District's monthly docket, especially after all the promises made to us. I'm concerned about my family and my friends who live in the area because we have very long wait times, especially in the past 3 years for an ambulance or if there's a small accidental fire on a windy day. The Davis Creek fire is a great example. We watched it start from a small one and look at the damage it did. There would have been so much less damage done when the Davis Creek fire started if we had had a manned fire station in close proximity. I would like to insist that the Board of Fire Commissioners keep the promises made to the residents of Washoe Valley in 2022 and break new ground for a new consolidated fire station in 90 days, or to immediately equip the volunteer station on Bellevue Road to be a Truckee Meadow Fire Protection District career station. We need a firehouse in West Washoe Valley, and we need it now. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alan Altman, followed by Loretta Lowe.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alan Altman. I'm a retired physician. I live with my wife, my dog, and 3 cats in West Washoe Valley. I also am concerned about my family and pet safety and that of my son and his wife, who live just down the road from me. I'm concerned because I've witnessed the devastation of the Davis Creek fire, and also because of my age and possible need for life-threatening emergency services. As a doctor, I know the value of preventive care in avoiding serious illness and death, and in helping people live better lives. The parallel to fire and emergency services in preventing death, destruction, and ruination of a lifetime of work is striking. In just echoing what everyone has said today, I really urge that the Board of Fire Commissioners keep their promises to our community and promptly break ground for either a new consolidated station or for re-equipping the Bellevue station. Please help us avoid a preventable tragedy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Loretta Lowe, followed by Tim Sellier.
Good morning. My name is Loretta Lowe, and I live in Washoe Valley, West Washoe Valley, and I'm concerned about my husband and my safety. I'm also concerned about my community's safety, and I'm concerned about the safety of communities around West Washoe Valley, because fires often start certain points, but they end up very, very, very far away. And if they could be caught at the very beginning, at the start, by Truckee Meadows Fire, then the other communities further away would be safe as well. I am concerned because West Washoe Valley does not have what it should have, and that is adequate emergency medical services. Adequate emergency medical services is an 8-minute response time. We don't have that. There is no Truckee Meadows Fire Station in West Washoe Valley. I think we all know this, but I want to make sure that is clear, that everyone realizes this. There is no Truckee Meadows Fire Station to save the life of a resident in West Washoe Valley because of that 8-minute response time. There is not a single station for medical or fire protection in West Washoe Valley. Medical or fire protection outside of West Washoe Valley is not the answer for us. The response times are too long to save a life. For the safety of hundreds of residents, a career station must be established in West Washoe Valley. To Chief Edwards, through Chair Hill, welcome to Nevada. I and other residents of West Washoe Valley encourage the Fire Commissioner and Chief Edwards to keep the promises made to the residents of West Washoe Valley and establish a career station within 90 days, or immediately equip the volunteer station on Bellevue Road to be a Truckee Meadows Fire career station. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tim Salyer, followed by Laura Dilley.
Good morning and welcome, Chief Edwards. My name is Tim Salyer and I live on the west side of Washoe Valley. I'm concerned about my family's safety and well-being in case of emergency. I would like to see the Fire Commissioner seriously consider pursuing the purchase or lease of the Bellevue Road I-580 Volunteer Station 301 so that we can have acceptable response times in case of a fire event and or a medical emergency. The West Washoe Association members and the Valley residents are more than happy to work with you on this concept. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Laura Dilley, followed by Robert Burke.
Welcome, Chief Edwards, and greetings to the Board of Fire Commissioners. My name is Laura Dilley. I live in West Washoe Valley, and I'm concerned about the safety of this community in which I live. I'm grateful that we have been provided with basic services in the event of fire or medical concerns. I am concerned, however, that fire and medical services are not adequate in the event of a major emergency where time of response is urgent. Less than 2 years ago, I experienced an unusual heart-related emergency. I had a spontaneous artery tear, which caused a blocked artery, major shortness of breath, and symptoms similar to a heart attack. Luckily, my husband was available to take me immediately to Carson Tahoe Hospital. I had an emergency procedure and spent the night in intensive care. Recently, I became a widow. Living alone has become a risk without a rapid emergency response to my neighborhood. I believe that if the same event happened to me now, the outcome could be fatal. In addition, I lived through the Tubbs Fire in Northern California and have experienced the horrors of major fire and the trauma to friends who lost their homes, pets, and their life possessions. I am concerned that needed fire station improvements in West Washoe Valley, once voted for by the Board of Fire Commissioners, have not been provided. This leaves our residents at an increased risk of loss in the event of unexpected fire at home or in the surrounding area. I would like to ask the Board of Fire Commissioners to honor the promise of providing a new and adequate fire station and/or appropriate fire services to our residents. I would hope you would support my concern to prevent any unnecessary health or safety crisis in our area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Robert Burke, followed by Anthony Markow.
Hi, my name is Robert Burke. I'm a resident of West Washoe, and it appears as though all the concerns and points of the residents of the Washoe Valley have been expressed, and I enthusiastically agree with them all, but I will not take the time to reiterate them all either. So my question is, or my hope is, that the commissioners will make a positive change in this area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anthony Markow, followed by Dennis Frezzo.
Good morning, Commissioners, and welcome, Chief Edwards. My name is A.J. Marco. I live in West Washoe Valley, and I'm concerned about my family's safety. I'm concerned because we've been without adequate fire station providing the necessary critical response time needed to save life and property since August 2022, when Station 30 was abandoned overnight. We're all well aware of the plan that was made to build a consolidated station that would replace Stations 30 and 32, and I appreciate that not all of the current commissioners were part of that decision. However, the subsequent decisions to close Station 30 due to a bat infestation, not seeking to remediate that, and the statement by the interim fire chief that, as designed and without funding, the consolidated station would never be built, has left our community exposed to multiple inevitable losses of life and property. This has already been made evident by the loss of 11 homes in the Davis fire in September of 2024. It doesn't take a lot of thinking to know how much different the outcome could have been had Station 30 still been active. We all understand wildfires can be extremely unpredictable, but when you don't even have a fighting chance, it's certain to be devastating. And it doesn't only affect our community. St. James Village and Galena should all be concerned that we lack the resources to prevent them from tragedy. That same month, while the Davis fire had not even reached full containment, a waste management garbage truck burst into flames on September 18th. I live on Landing Lane, one street over from the intersection of Old 395 and Steptoe where the explosion occurred. I was shocked by the loud boom as I worked at my desk. I immediately saw the dark plumes of black smoke rising above my neighbor's roofline. Due to the lack of firefighting resources in our area, I had resorted to crafting my own firefighting trailer with 2 330-gallon water totes, a water pump, and fire hose and nozzle. As it was not completed, I had to rush to hook everything up in my truck in hopes of preventing another situation as horrible as the Davis fire. When I got out to the road, I was prevented from engaging in the fire. It took 29 minutes for the first fire resources to arrive. That corner lot contains lots of dry and dead vegetation due to an abandoned property nearby. We were so close to another disaster. My questions to all of the fire commissioners are, why has this not been a priority? Furthermore, Chair Hill, why has this not been an agenda item when an active fire commissioner has requested it? And to all the responsible present, including the new fire chief, welcome, how are you going to address this? Our best bet and request is the immediate conversion of the South Valley Volunteer Fire Department to a career Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District station. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dennis Frezzo, followed by John Milleron.
Good morning. My name is Dennis Frezzo, and I live in Washoe Valley. I live in the Franktown Estates community. There are 107 lots in the Franktown Estates community. Over 60 homes are there currently, with several more in process of approval. I've lived there for over 21 years. We've experienced a number of fires in the last 20 years, and the only reason why Franktown Estates has not specifically been affected is because of the skill and response time that we had at one time. The skill of our firefighters and the response time was acceptable. The current condition and status of the closing of the fire station in correlation of a new alternative leaves our community in great and unacceptable risk. The required response time is completely unattainable. Our recommendation is I strongly recommend the immediate approval of the renovation of Station 301 at Bellevue at 580. It is the most expeditious and efficient remedy to clear up this clear and present danger. I believe that failure to address this serious problem would be highly irresponsible. And I thank you for your time. Congratulations to the new chief. And I have nothing but admiration for all of you firefighters.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John Milleron, followed by Roxana Dunn.
Good morning. I'm asking the Board of Fire Commissioners to honor their commitment to the residents of Washoe Valley to build a new station or equip the voluntary station and protect the lives and properties of those currently exposed on the west side of the valley due to your closure of the Bowers Fire Station. The recent Davis fire demonstrates the urgency of this matter. I live about 2 miles north of Davis Campground in a 100-acre community that was devastated by that fire. My home was graciously spared, but my immediate neighbors were not. Everything they owned was burned to the ground. Our once beautiful community lost hundreds and hundreds of pine and aspen and homes, perhaps needlessly. We each pay thousands of dollars in property taxes, amounting to hundreds of thousands for the West Side each year for fire protection. Even so, we hear your budget is constrained. Accordingly, Tom Daly offers ideas and proposals that are affordable and quick to enact. We support those ideas and urge you to do the same. Thanks.
Thank you.
Roxana Dunn, followed by Katrina Dale.
I'm Roxana Dunn. I am the chair of the Incline Village Crystal Bay CAB, though today I'm speaking as an individual citizen, and I'm speaking in support of the South Truckee Meadows citizens who are asking for an additional fire station. Commissioners, you possibly remember meeting me in early 2024 when Diane Becker and I met with each of you individually to convey our concerns, particularly about our evacuation situation. We emphasize the very dangerous ratio of the number of people that would need to be evacuated from the Washoe Tahoe area divided by the number of escape routes available to us. We only have 3. 2 of those escapes are 28 East and 28 West. 28 is an old road that was carved into the cliffs that feed down into the lake. It's narrow, it lacks shoulders in many places, has very few turnouts, and is therefore extremely vulnerable to complete blockage. Additionally, there's the traffic. 28 West takes you to the parking lot known as Kings Beach, and 28 East puts you in the regular traffic jam that occurs at Sand Harbor. I personally would not want to take either one of those routes. That leaves 431, the Mount Rose Highway, as the best option for moving people out of the Washoe Tahoe area. However, last summer, the Davis fire showed us we're vulnerable there too. The 431 was closed for a good portion of one day, and the fire came dangerously close to the summit. In fact, the fire inspector came out to do my defensible space inspection last week, told me that had it not been for a fortunate change in wind direction, the fire might easily have come into the Tahoe Basin. So a fire that starts in the Truckee Meadows and comes into the Tahoe Basin or vice versa and cuts us off from 431 leaves us essentially trapped. The best way to avoid that kind of disaster is early detection and containment, and that means adequate fire resources. So I ask that in considering a fire station for the South Truckee Meadows, please also factor in those of us who live on the other side of the mountain. Thank you.
Thank you.
Katrina Dale, followed by Elizabeth Siebold.
Good morning. My name is Katrina Dale, and I live on the west side in the interface. Welcome, Fire Chief. You've got a lot on your plate today. You've only been here recently. We have a lot of wind in Washoe. A lot of wind, and a little spark can set a huge fire. We've suffered also the Washoe Lane fire, as well as the Davis Creek and Little Valley fires. This problem has been kicked down the road, as they so often say. It's now in your lap, all of your laps. I plead to your integrity as commissioners and politicians. All of your campaign slogans, we're serving you. Well, here's your opportunity to make that happen. There's a lot to review. We've given you options as far as the Bellevue Road Station. It's a great solution, maybe temporary, but it's better than nothing. And all of you who make these promises to us, you take our tax money. The last fire chief made out like a bandit, and he's out, he's gone. So this is your problem now, and we bring it to you, and I plead this, a sincere, heartfelt prayer, that all of you have the integrity to do what you're here to do, and that is to serve the public. We are your public. Thank you.
Thank you.
Elizabeth Seibold, followed by Mary Pierzynski.
Hi, I am Elizabeth Seibold. I live in West Washoe Valley. As you can see, I'm handicapped. I'm 80 years old. I'm a widow. I live alone, and I don't have any fire protection or paramedic anymore. And I think we've been lied to. I remember back in 2016 when we had the Little Valley fire, and we were told that they would, nobody around here was here probably then, but they had, it was a controlled burn, and they were to keep somebody on the site for ages. And within a few hours, there was a fire, Little Valley fire consumed 23 homes and a lot of livestock. This could happen again. If we're lied to once, we're going to be lied to again. Please do something and help us get, I think the Bellevue Station is a good solution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary Pierzynski, followed by Rick Hoffman.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the Commission. For the record, my name is Mary Pierzynski, and I am a resident of West Washoe Valley, and I have concerns about my safety and the safety of my neighbors and my family. And I think this morning you heard a very good common sense solution to this issue. Your first speaker brought that out. Mr. Daly brought out a way that this issue can be resolved and an economical way to approach it. I know you want to do the right thing, and I hope that at the September meeting, this can be an agenda item, and the whole issue here truly vetted so you can understand how serious this is. So, and I welcome you, Chief Edwards. You came at a really good time, didn't you? Oh, my goodness. Anyway, and I also want to echo the comments that were made by several other speakers and thank our firefighters for being there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rick Hoffman, followed by Penny Brock.
Good morning. Chief, you got a hot potato. And rightfully so. There were promises made that weren't fulfilled, and that's not right. So what I would say is, my name is Rick Hoffman. I live in West Washoe in Franktown Estates. I value the lifestyle that I came up here to enjoy in my retirement. I speak today out of concern for my family and my own personal safety due to a lack of the adequate fire services and especially the medical services, knowing what the age of our population is. The promises made to our community prior to the closure of Station 30 in anticipation of the reconstruction of a consolidated station were not kept. That's not right. You have the power to be able to change that. It's your decision to do that. I'd like to request that the commissioners keep their promises and commence immediately either the construction of the new site that the land's already been purchased for, or what is a very reasonable solution is the adoption of the Bellevue Volunteer Site as a Truckee Meadows Fire Department station. Thank you.
Thank you.
Penny Brock, followed by Mark Looney.
Penny Brock, Chair of the South Truckee Meadows Washoe Valley CAB. At our June meeting, about 85 people came to that meeting, and the number one concern was replacing the closed fire station in Washoe Valley. Why? Because our area, Mount Rose Corridor, is a gatekeeper of Lake Tahoe from a fire in the valley. We saw that demonstrated in the Davis fire. I, at one time, lived in Galena Forest, and our wonderful fire chief from the now closed volunteer fire station on Mount Rose told us over and over again, a fire burns uphill. Be aware of that. That's what we saw demonstrated in the Davis fire. If that wind had not miraculously been changed, Lake Tahoe may not be what it is today. The Washoe Valley Fire Station is a must. At least you could, what's been proposed is reopen that closed fire station. It's been estimated by Tom Daly it would cost about $500,000. Where would that come from? Well, I don't know. It seems you found 500, is the overhead on?
No, could y'all put the overhead on, please?
Please restore my time. You found $500,000 to move rocks from Las Vegas to Washoe County last year. You can find $500,000 to reopen this mandatory critical fire station. We know there's $500,000 in the budget to do that. We would ask that you would please do that. Then talk about building a new fire station maybe later, but at least we'll have this fire protection. Hopefully also with the EMS that Washoe Valley residents are asking for. This is critical. We are begging you and our new fire chief to please provide this critical fire station for the sake of South Valleys, Washoe Valley, and also Incline Village. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark Looney, followed by John Kerry.
Hello, I'm Mark Looney. I have a property in Franktown. Did you really spend that much money to move rocks? That seems like a really obscene expenditure of taxpayer money when we got lots of rocks in the area. Anyhow, there's an old saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and we had that ounce of prevention, and it was taken away. It was taken away because of a couple bats. And at the Davis fire, that took not just a pound of cure, many pounds of cure. Really. Pardon me. Just the destruction it caused by not having that fire station there. You have a lot of protection here. You got locked doors, you got security guards out front, you got fire sprinklers, you got smoke detectors. How safe would you feel if all those protections were taken away and you had to rely on the sheriff department up on Parr Avenue to respond to a disturbance, which is what, good 10, 15 minutes away? How much damage can be done in that little bit of time? But I'm glad we have the protection here. And it's not just concern for the residents. It's concern for the crews you send out to fight those fires. They put their lives on the line. And I don't think a bunch of rocks is worth that. Thank you.
Thank you.
John Kerry, followed by Lori Kerry.
John Kerry, South Washoe Valley on Franktown. Thank you to our wonderful firemen who have done just an amazing job in the previous fires, and to our new chief. Not sure if congratulations are in order, but we'll see. Mostly I'm just here to support what everyone has said. These are my neighbors. And, we need protection. I think that the property taxes that we pay should be sufficient to give us adequate fire and emergency services. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lori Carey, followed by Susan Roll.
Good morning. I'm Lori Carey, and congratulations, Chief, and thank you, all the men and women of the fire department. We've seen some horrific fires in West Washoe, and we need that protection. We feel vulnerable, and it's not only fires, it's our health. We're all getting old, and we need to be able to rely on the services of a stable fire department. Bats was a ridiculous excuse for closing Bauer Mansion. I know how to get rid of bats. So let's come up with a better idea. Some have been presented today, and we will feel much better if you all do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Susan Roll, followed by Robin Muller.
Good morning and thank you. I'm Susan Roll and I live in Steamboat Valley, just up the way from all my friends and neighbors. And I just thought I had to come here today because when you see that Davis fire barreling at you and you're getting ready to evacuate everything you own and your pets and your horses, your dogs, it's a very scary thing, and I can't imagine my friends that are even closer to it, what it was like. So I just know that to do the common sense, right thing is to get us a fire station and emergency services, so thank you.
Thank you.
Robin Muller, followed by William Naylor.
Hello, I am Robin Mueller. I also live in Steamboat Valley, and I am, as everyone has said, I'm not only concerned about my property and my immediate neighbors, but I'm concerned about all of my neighbors. And we're just right up the way the wind blows, we're right up. Washoe Valley, Pleasant Valley, Steamboat Valley. And hopefully we can figure this all out and get better fire protection and stop it before it gets too crazy. Thank you.
Thank you.
William Naylor, followed by Cliff Lowe.
Good morning. For the record, my name is William Naylor. It seems like every time we look at fire statistics on allocating resources, we're looking at urgent care events or how many cats we saved out of a tree. That's really not what we should be looking at. We ought to be looking at some of the things that I'm going to list here for you. This doesn't only apply, as just shown, to Washoe Valley, but also Pleasant Valley, Steamboat Valley. They have suffered badly from past fires that started in Washoe Valley. Number one, it's a large area of high fire risk in the forested areas, and even a larger area of medium fire risk in the wildland interface. Compare this now to the other areas in Washoe County that Truckee Meadows serves, and you'll see why we're pretty unique. It's a large geographic area with physical separation at Washoe Lake. It has Washoe Lake State Park, the third most visited in the state of Nevada, with 300,000 visitors. We have 2 Washoe County regional parks, which also have substantial visitors, which need EMS support possibly. It has limited fire hydrant infrastructure. To fight a fire, we need water tankers. With the new station, it was promised that we'd get additional water tankers. The new station isn't happening. If you're going to have an engine out there, you have to have a water tanker to keep it going. Limited EMS. REMSA doesn't come to Washoe Valley. Why not? You signed an EMS agreement to serve Washoe County. Why in the heck can't they come down and serve our people? Maybe you ought to expand that contract. Proximity to Washoe Basin has been mentioned. Fires burn uphill. If you can stop it in Washoe Valley, it's not going to get into the Washoe Basin. Limited evacuation capability. During the Davis Creek fire at key intersections in Washoe Valley, there was a 1.5 hour delay. trying to get on East Lake Boulevard just to get out of the valley. Can you imagine what would have happened if that fire hadn't been stopped before it hit New Washoe City? How many lives and livestock would have been lost? Washoe Valley, Pleasant Valley, has a documented record of periodic major wildfire incidents. I mean, it's there, they happen, a bunch of them. I've had 3 of them come within a quarter mile of my house since I've lived there, just in the last 10 years or so. And then 48 homes were destroyed. Compare this to what's happening in other areas of the people who are getting the resources, and compare it to Washoe Valley, and I think we really need your support to make things better in Washoe Valley. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cliff Lowe. And Cliff provided documents to be distributed to the board.
Good morning, Commissioners, and welcome to new Chief Edwards. And thank you to all the Truckee Meadows folks. Hi, Adam. My name is Cliff Lowe, and I also serve as president of the West Washoe Association. I also live in West Washoe Valley, and I am concerned for the safety of my family and neighbors. I'm concerned for most of the reasons that you have heard before me, and I will not repeat those. However, what I see almost all of you looking at kind of goes back to your meeting as county commissioners 3 weeks ago, when I talked to you about what responsibility you might have for promises made before you. I hope you didn't feel like I was lecturing you at the time, but I want to repeat that briefly for your benefit and the benefit of the other folks here. So, recognizing that 3 of you were not even in office in 2022, if you can review the relevant minutes and given the information available at the time, would you honestly have voted against the proposal that has gone through? If you would have voted yes, then I believe you have an obligation to take action to see that the promises made are kept, even if you didn't vote for it at the time. If you fail to take action on something that you would have agreed with, then I believe any motion that comes before you for a vote and extends beyond your current term, you may not have another term for whatever reason, you must abstain, because you cannot expect your successors to do what you yourself have failed to do. That would be hypocritical. So I've made it easier for you, saved a step. For you and for the chief, I have the minutes from the January 2020, you have the minutes from the January 2020 meeting, when the consolidated station was voted for, and to keep stations 30 and 32 open until that consolidated station was fully operational. And you also have the minutes from the September 2022 meeting, when direction was given to the fire chief to expedite the completion of that. And the minutes from November of 22, when the board voted to terminate the lease for Station 30. So, like those before me, I would plead with you that as fire commissioners, you keep the promises that were made to the residents of Washoe Valley. And although it may seem impossible, break new ground for Consolidated Station in 90 days, or immediately equip the volunteer station on Bellevue Road to be a TMFPD career station. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's everybody who has signed in. I do have 4 emails that were submitted that will be placed on the record.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We will now move into item 5, Commissioner of Fire Chief announcements. Chief Edwards.
Thank you. Commissioners, Fire Chief announcements, requests for information and topics for future agendas. A non-action item, no discussion among commissioners will take place on this item.
Thank you. Do you have anything for us, Chief?
I do. Just a quick update that staff followed up on a request from Commissioner Clark from the last meeting, requesting some information, and that information and those documents responsive to that request were provided to each of the commissioners on June 26th.
Thank you. Vice Chair Herman.
I want to say something to everyone about fire generally in our county. And pretty much all this problem with the lack of, funding or whatever it was that caused this, there was a blue ribbon report years ago. It was in my first term, in my first year. And I voted against it. I campaigned against it because it stopped all the volunteer fire stations. And we're spread out a lot, so those volunteer fire stations prevented a lot of fires, including Washoe Valley. There were more than one. There was more than one volunteer station there, which, was great. Now the population has grown, of course, but at that time it took care of a lot. And, but anyhow, what this bill did, it took that away, and I have to say I was the only one that voted against it, but it happened because it got accepted by the rest of the board members. So nobody here right now was involved. But this affects all of Washoe County. We're all in trouble. Gerlach lost their fire station, volunteer fire station. It was shut down by the powers that be. Fought that tooth and nail. It's in my district. So, and where I live, Warm Springs, it takes a long time to get anything out there. And we've had some big fires there. So it's a universal problem, and we all need to work on it together. Mm-hmm. And it's a big job. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hit you with this today when you just got put into office. But these are the facts. Mm-hmm. It's a big worry. Like I say, last week, I believe, or the week before, we had Gerlach people here. Mm-hmm. And we haven't bothered from Warm Springs, as we know. What are we going to do? How are we going to get, covered a little better? Sometimes maybe we look into the past and try and change some of the things that were done. Maybe we need to go back to the volunteers that the way it was, because it did work. And I went to all the volunteer chiefs meetings before I became a commissioner, and I just listened to their stories, and now I realize they were absolutely right on. So I don't know how we're going to do this, but we really need to work hard on it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Commissioner Garcia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here today. I wanted to welcome and thank our new fire chief. It's really exciting that you're here. But I also want to draw my attention to his lovely wife and his children and extend our deepest gratitude for your commitment and allowing him to serve with us here in this region. I hope everybody's been very welcoming to you, and I can't wait to see how you guys get to experience this beautiful place we call home, so thank you. Chief Moore, see, that's going to take a minute. Chief Edwards, there's some things I just wanted to briefly put on the record today, just so that we're all aware. All 5 county commissioners are living with fire in our districts. Every single one of us have constituents that we're really advocating for, and to Vice Chair Herman's points, this isn't just one area. So I appreciate everybody shining the light on West Washoe Valley. That's very, very important. And as Vice Chair Herman said, we heard from Gerlach, and we're going to continue to hear from other constituents in Verdi and Tahoe, and rightly so, because we know Reno is the fastest warming city in the United States. And we also know that growth is coming. I was just looking up the stats because I always forget the numbers, but Truckee Meadows Regional Planning Agency anticipates that we're going to increase to over 587,000 people by 2040. So the growth is here, and it's already been here, and it's coming. And we all know that every jurisdiction, from the cities to the school district to the fire protection agencies, we're all facing budget challenges. And so I'm really excited that you're here because you're bringing so much experience, a wealth of knowledge, and more importantly, creative solutions. So I'm just really looking forward to meeting with you and hearing about how we can come together and find these creative solutions to move forward. So thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Andriella.
Welcome. Thank you for agreeing to serve. And, you know, one of the things I think whenever, whoever it is that starts, looks at what the priority is, but I think it's self-evident. And welcome to the family, and I'll echo Commissioner Garcia's. I think you'll find why we love this place, and we hope that you, again, are embraced by the community. It's a wonderful, wonderful community. And the constituents I serve, if you look at even past reports to both the Vice Chair and Commissioner Garcia's point, we all have exposure to this. Spanish Springs is usually right there with shared District 3 with Commissioner Garcia on a consistent basis of responses and fire. I mean, just recently there was a fire. So I think we have to start thinking differently about how we do things, and thank you, Mr. Daly, for always looking at opportunities to think differently, for Mr. Lowe, who always is here as well to remind us of our responsibility in being public servants. But we also have to look at the expertise of what the folks that they bring and their responsibility to serve as well. So I don't think we'll have to go very deep in terms of looking at how we use the challenge of budget constraints with safety, because there is no value more important than the loss of life. And so putting a dollar on that is impossible. And I know that you know that, and I know that everyone who has committed to being public servants in the space of being fire professionals understand that as well. Just the fact of over the years watching the heightened awareness of defensible space and how that is such an important piece to folks who live in the area where that is really critical if you're not in an urban area. And so I welcome you on your first day. I welcome the family as well, and I look forward to the meetings that we're going to have, and I look forward to looking at what the solution is, because I am the newest member of this board, and from the moment I got here, I have had the pleasure of taking a tour with Mr. Lowe, Mr. Naylor, and some other folks about this very subject. And so it's not new, as you're hearing, but it certainly is important. And I think the action of what we can do on the sooner than the later is self-evident. But I do think the bigger piece of how we look at balancing the budget with life safety is really critical, and I think that is going to be a priority as we're moving forward. I know that you'll be looking at, if you haven't already, the budget and what that looks like and what those opportunities are, whether it's the, particular state funding that has, or federal. I don't know that there is much on that, but the point is that I think no stone should go unturned. And that's really, I think, the message that we're hearing today. All of us care. We thank you all for coming. And for those that even haven't been here and who are watching or hearing, I hope your message that you can share with your family and residents, your neighbors, is that it is a high priority. It has been a high priority, even though it may not feel like it's been a high priority. I can tell you the conversations I've had with a former chief were long about this as well. And I know we all care about looking at a solution on the immediate and not on the latter. So welcome, Chief Edwards, and thank you.
Commissioner Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Looking at the news last night and this morning, I think I'd like to start off with a moment of silence for the firefighters that were killed in Idaho. So let's just reflect on that for a moment. Thank you. Well, welcome aboard, Chief Edwards. He hasn't even had a chance to saddle his horse yet, and we're getting him off to the races. We've got a difficult situation here. I left the last county fire commissioners meeting in disgust. This has been going on for years. I've asked for this to be on the agenda. I brought this up at every single fire commissioners meeting for the last 2.5 years, and here we are. It's been going on since 2019, and here we are. These are our neighbors here in the audience. We need to figure out how to help them. If this is my district, but if it wasn't my district and we had a contingent of folks coming in from your district with these same concerns, I would be doing everything I could to help them. This has not been a priority for whatever reason. The reason why I left the meeting, the last meeting, in absolute disgust was, as a sitting fire commissioner, I had to hear about the final word that this fire station wasn't going to be built from the news media. Why didn't I get a heads up? It's in my district from somebody saying that we can't afford it. We've been telling everybody for 5 or 6 years we're going to build it, but now we're not. And you can hear about it on the news. That's why I left here and discussed in a peaceful protest. I salute all of you. A lot of folks have left for coming out here and making your voices heard. This is a message that the new chief needs to hear. We need to get, that was last month, that was then, and this is now. How do we make it better going forward? That's my question. I have to tip the hat to Mr. Daly for coming up with some out of the box kind of solutions. These are kind of, at the end of the day, Band-Aids to get us down the road. We also have to thank the volunteer firefighters for having the foresight and the thoughts to put that Bellevue station where it is, raise the funds, build that station with their own hands, and apparently they were just disregarded at the end of the day. That's the message that I get from these folks, and they were instrumental in building that station and instrumental in protecting their neighbors, and we should thank them for that. We should look at maybe public-private endeavor in the future, public-private partnership, and see if we can make this Bellevue station work. It sounds like a reasonable idea, but I'm not an architect or a specialist on this design. Let's just let others that know what they're doing take a look at this. But we should be looking at the end game as a public-private partnership to build this station somewhere in the future and have the fire district lease this back from somebody who builds it so that they don't have to come up with this massive amount of money. All the speakers, I can agree with a lot of what the speakers had to say. The county should be able to, this is an opportunity, and I've asked for this again and again and again. The county should be looking at selling surplus properties that we own, selling some surplus properties, since we're tight on money, and getting those on the tax rolls, number one, and collect some income and maybe loan or donate, give to the fire district some money to fix this fire station at Bellevue. It's got its own challenges. That land is owned by the state of Nevada, I understand. The building is owned by the volunteer firefighters. They need to be compensated or worked with. So there's a lot of moving parts, but this could be a temporary fix. I had an opportunity to talk with Mr. Clauser, the union president. He thought it sounded like a reasonable idea, and then he brings up the fact is, even if we had a brand new fire station today, how are we going to fund the folks that work there. That's the big concern. So a free fire station, you still have to man that and have employees there and apparatus. And so there's a lot of things taking place here, but again, it's all water under the bridge. We've got to move forward, and the new chief has got his work cut out for him to make this right for folks that have played by the rules for years and years and years out there, were promised things, and it didn't happen. So I'm going to request an action item on the next agenda for September 2nd to discuss refurbishing or rehabbing or retrofitting that station out there as a temporary fix, but the big goal is to finally come up with a traditional fire station out in that part of the county. So thank you for taking the time to listen to all of these folks and understand their concerns, and this is one way to get you oriented right out of the box with a handful of stuff, and we look for your leadership. I hear good things about you, and coming from Stockton with a place that didn't have a lot of money, you were able to figure things out. Hopefully you can help us do that here. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think I need to address some comments that, and even by the commissioner who states that I did not put this on the agenda. That is not true. We have been discussing this fire station since I got on this board. Actually, right after the fire occurred, the Davis fire, I had connected our former chief with the U.S. Department of Agriculture because they were doing very low loans that wouldn't extend our bonding capability as a district. And those discussions were happening up until the fire chief left. So this has been a priority from, I think you heard from all the board members. I will leave it at that. We will continue to have this discussion, but any accusation that we are not putting things on the agenda and not keeping people safe in this community and not making West Washoe a priority is not fair. So we'll now move into our consent items.
I'd like to make another comment, please.
You can go ahead, Commissioner Clark.
Certainly. I didn't mean to accuse anyone of anything. I'm just saying nothing has been done but talk. This has been at least 2.5 years I've been on the board, and maybe it's on the agenda, maybe it's not, but there's absolutely no positive movement of the needle.
Right, I just wanted to
Let me
clear that
finish,
up,
please.
sir.
Let me finish. And the most egregious thing, I think, is when the acting fire chief didn't disclose to me that the deal's off. It's off the table. Up until that moment, you're right. Everybody was led to believe it was going to happen, but it didn't happen, and now it's been disclosed that it's not going to happen. So that's the difference. You can talk about it. We can have meetings about it. Nothing moved forward, and it was finally disclosed that nothing was going to move forward. So that's my beef with it. Thank you.
And that was one employee, and that perspective, certainly this board has a lot of authority and power to make those changes, and I think that there's a priority by this board, and we'll definitely have those discussions, but I just wanted to really clear up the record because that is just not a fair statement. So we'll now move into our, yes, Commissioner Andriola.
Maybe there's an opportunity, just we are in commissioner comments, to include updates on a regular basis so that we know where the progress is going, and obviously taking action without a vetted plan is, a prudent way to move forward. But I think it might be helpful if we do have an update where we're at, what's it looking like, what's being explored. I think it gives everybody an opportunity. For instance, your generosity in working with the previous chief and looking at funding opportunities that you had discovered as an example. Well, that's the first I've heard of that, and thank you for doing that, by the way. But I do think that we owe everyone an opportunity, and I think the chief, if he's amenable, can include that as an update. I think it would be very helpful. It's just a request for consideration.
Absolutely, and I do think Chief Moore did discuss that in one of the updates, but I know that we are flooded and inundated with information. But yes, I think that there's an opportunity to make sure that the community understands all this work that's being done and the conversations being had. But certainly it's going to be a lot of work for our new chief, and I know he is ready to take it on. So we'll now move into our consent items. Do any board members have any items that they'd like to pull from the consent agenda? I'm not seeing that anyone does. Madam Clerk, is there any public comment?
There is. Tom Daly.
Thank you, Commissioners. Tom Daly for the record. And I ask that my comments be entered into the record for this meeting. On the adoption of the meeting minutes of June 3rd, specifically agenda item number 4, Commissioner Clark asked for an agenda item to get an update on the proposed Washoe Valley Consolidated Station. To Commissioner Andriola's point, the Commission has not received a staff report or staff presentation since a brief mention of this in January. 6 months. Citizens, in expectation of hearing this matter, have turned out today, but there's no agenda item, no staff report, no staff presentation. Why is that? This is a serious public safety issue which should be a priority on this agenda and your September agenda. So on behalf of all the citizens commenting today on this issue, I'm requesting you agendize this issue for a staff presentation, staff report, discussion among the commissioners, and possible action at your September meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's nobody else signed in.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I am looking for a motion on consent.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Andriola. Looking for a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. And I think that passed unanimously. Are we getting something on our screen or no? Okay, thank you very much. That passed unanimously. We'll now move into item 7, Chief Edwards.
All right, item 7, International Association of Firefighters Local 2487 report.
Chief Edwards, welcome. We are ecstatic that you're here. The strengths I see in you, your charisma, your passion, your integrity, your professionalism, your expertise are a welcome addition to our organization, and we are proud and very much looking forward to serving under your command. We had a tremendous fundraising with our 50-50 raffle in conjunction with the Reno Rodeo. Most money we've ever raised, $66,000. That is tremendous. We'll be putting that money to work in our community and hopefully looking into seeing how we can serve the department in Idaho in this time, and if they need any help at all, and find out what we can do. And once again, it is that time of year for 4th of July. So for everyone out there listening, please put your pets indoors. Don't just wait for the big fireworks shows, because as we know in this community, there's a lot of people who light off fireworks at any time of the day or evening, and that scares pets and that inhibits our response times and puts a lot of people at risk. So that's my PSA for the day. Once again, please put your dogs, especially inside, once we hit the 4th of July.
Thank you. Any questions for the President? Commissioner Andriola.
Hey, congratulations. I have to say I tried to do my best by the night of the 50-50 to encourage people to understand.
Thank you.
Was that the largest amount? I think it was the largest amount.
How much was it?
66,000 they took home.
Wow.
Meaning, well,
Over
took home.
66,000, yeah.
I mean, you didn't take it home. Okay, let me for the record say you did not take it home.
Yes, raised over 66,000.
I said you raised
Yes,
over
yes.
66,000. And so the president of the Reno Rodeo, whoever he or she is, they choose who the 50-50 for each of the 10 nights.
Yeah.
And I think this is your second year. And so congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much.
That's great.
And thank you to the community for participating. The money gets well distributed to some very deserving people or people in need, which is
Well, I hope you've
great.
secured for 2026, so.
Yeah, thank you.
Got to
Thank
get
you.
in there.
Yeah, and our president of that section of our organization, Alex Dorr, is phenomenal. Great guy. We're very blessed to have him as part of our group, so he does a
And
great job.
where are the funds going?
We reserve those for when the situations come up that we have the money to support whatever, and it can be families in need after a fire. It can be things like what's going on in Idaho, if we can support them in any way. It just kind of comes up as it comes up. That's one of the beautiful parts about having a foundation like that and having a fundraiser where we have the money ready to be able to go out and help people when they need it.
Well, I would just make a recommendation for consideration, given that the Reno Rodeo has tens of thousands of volunteers, social media followers, that there might be an opportunity for you to periodically share and tag, and then that way, I'm trying to help.
Yes, love it.
It could be 100,000 next time, or whatever it might be, but I would encourage, because a lot of times people don't know where the funds are going, and I'm just trying to offer an opportunity to help, but thank you.
That's great. I'll put one of the millennials on them, or whoever's the tech generation. It's not me. All right.
Any other commissioners? Commissioner Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just thank you for being here this morning and listening to what's taking place and always engaging with the community. Could you give us a quick update on what's taking place with Senior Rescue and your members of brothers and sisters from your union helping seniors making defensible space around their properties?
Yeah, we have continued people signing up for the list, and we'll come out and take a look at your yard and see where we can help. We had, like I said, we had 6 or so for the last round that we did, and I got to remember to take pictures of that. That was one of my whoops. I didn't do that, but we'll take pictures and start posting those as we go. And the people are just so grateful because they can't do it themselves in a lot of these cases, and we're happy to help in any way we can, and makes a difference. And hopefully that's one less fire that we have to worry about this year.
Sure. Thank you for doing that, and folks need to understand that your people are doing this on their own time, and all volunteers and helping the community. So thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Good to see you.
You too. Thank
We'll
you.
see you soon.
Yeah.
All right. We'll now move into item 8. Chief Edwards.
All right, item 8 is the fire chief report, and I have quite the lengthy report for
Yay.
you today.
Great.
The team has provided me with a tremendous amount of information of what's been going on over the last month. To begin with, our capital projects or fleet update. We're just recently received 3 new battalion chief command vehicles, and those are in the process of being upfitted right now, and those will replace older vehicles. We're still awaiting delivery of a Type 3 and Type 5 wildland fire engine. So these are different. One is the bigger fire engine for off-road use. The other is on a pickup type chassis. So a little bit more mobile, less water and so forth, but helping to increase our fire suppression capabilities. And then we also have 3 new Type 1 engines, and these are the larger fire engines that we operate out of primarily. These are going to begin construction this winter. The supply chain and so forth with the apparatus manufacturers have really kind of pushed back the build time. So when this project was started, probably 40 months to get a fire engine built, which is incredible. And then as we replace some of our newer apparatus in the fleet, the older apparatus is moved to reserve status or different support roles, or we surplus it out at the end of its useful life. An update on Senate Bill 319 was provided. Senate Bill 319 passed the Nevada Assembly on May 22nd, 2025 by a vote of 34-8. The bill is requiring the Washoe County Board of Fire Commissioners, the Reno City Council, and the Sparks City Council to study the creation of a county fire protection district that would include both Reno and Sparks. The bill's version that cleared the Assembly was slightly amended to require the study to be completed by December 31st of 2026 instead of the original July 1st of 2026 deadline. And the governor signed that bill into law on June 13th of 2025. So the bill will require the Board of Commissioners and the City Councils of Reno and Sparks to appoint 2 members from their respective bodies to serve on a public body or study group to study the creation of a county fire protection district to consolidate fire protection services within Washoe County and the cities. And In terms of the study group's voting structure, a majority of the members of this body constitute a quorum at any meeting. Any action of the board must be approved by a majority of the members and at least one member appointed by each participating governing body. This is important to recognize because if two members of the same body oppose a motion, despite the other two bodies unanimously supporting it, the motion automatically dies. The body must follow the open meeting laws. So the study group may contract with any entity to assist in this study, and all three entities must share in that cost as well. And the study group must produce a written report by December 31st of 2026 with the results and recommendations of the board, any recommendations for future legislation. And then, as we've noticed in the news lately, and we've seen it locally, the wildfire activity is definitely increasing. We had a significant wildfire on June 10th, the Marie Fire. Our firefighters did a tremendous job at that. It started about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It was a wind-driven fire. It burned, I think, a little over 114 acres, and a total of 175 personnel to suppress that. So my hat's off to them. They did a phenomenal job. And then, on top of it, I know it wasn't included in this board meeting packet, but yesterday our firefighters did another tremendous job stopping a fast-moving fire, wind-driven again, in the Lemon Valley area. Just a tremendous effort, and if they weren't there and didn't take the aggressive actions they did, that the results of that could have been much worse. So, again, tremendous job by all of our firefighters and chief officers out there. And then the last item to kind of touch on under that is our engineer development school. So we kind of shared that executive summary. This engineer development school is the training program where we train our firefighters to be the apparatus operators. So how to drive our fire apparatus, how to use them, how to pump water and so forth, how to get water. A tremendous effort. I do want to recognize some of the staff that participated in that, as this was the largest class we've ever had. So this is part of the growth and the transition here within the organization as well. So a big thanks to Chief Chris Black, Engineer Brian Paquette, Logistics Assistant James Flint, Accountant Clerk Kim Paholk, and then our Fleet Manager Todd Meckler, and our mechanics Dylan Mead, Ernie Stewart, and Tom Gleason. This wouldn't have been possible without their efforts and coordination with that, so a big thanks to all of them as well. And then I've also included, we've included the monthly response statistics as a component of that. I don't know if you want me to go over all those with you? Or?
Typically not unless board members, do board members have any questions on the statistics? I'm not seeing any. So we'll let you know if we need you to let us know more info.
Fantastic. Well, then that will complete my report.
Okay, I'm looking to the board. Vice Chair Herman, do you have any questions for the chief and Commissioner Garcia?
Madam Chair, I'm curious about the communications that we're rolling out this week for the 4th of July holiday. I'm not sure if you could give us an update so that we can help kind of spread the word about fire safety and...
Absolutely. I'll ask our PIO to come up and speak to that.
Okay, thank you.
I've been seeing great social media activity recently. It feels like I'm really impressed with all the work that you've been doing on the social, just to give you a shout out.
Madam Chair, I appreciate that. Commissioners, Commissioner Garcia, yeah, 4th of July, fireworks are illegal. We'll continue, we put a press release out yesterday, a joint release with the Sheriff's Office, in fact. We'll be having a heavy social media presence. We also have one of our fire investigators who's skilled in the Spanish language, and we'll be reaching out today, in fact, producing some short videos in Spanish and English that we will share on social media. And this is a very aggressive time for us where we just keep pushing that message out that fireworks are illegal, they start fires, they cause injuries. And so certainly to the extent that you want to share that with your constituents and on your channels, that would be appreciated too as well. Things are very dry and hot, and so we're certainly mindful of it.
Thank you. And I just wanted to extend my thanks for the communication on the Marie Fire. The videos were shared and disseminated wide and far, so the communications coming from you and your team is wonderful. So keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Commissioner Andriola.
I'll echo the social media. I've been
seeing the activity, and it's great that we can continue to pass that along, that message along. I also want to share your report, Chief Edwards, in terms of the Engineer Development School. I mean, that's a 55% increase in enrollment, and I think that's really great. It's a testament, I think, to the commitment that TM has for training professionals and being prepared, and so thanks to all for participating, and I'll look forward to more to come on the social media end or any other advertisements that we can help push out for the 4th of July. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Commissioner Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No questions.
Okay. We will now move in, and Chief, unless you have anything else for us. Okay. Thank you. We'll now move into item 9. Chief Edwards, if you'll lead us into that.
All right, item 9, a recommendation to adopt Resolution TM09-2025, adopting the 2025 Washoe County Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan. The Federal Emergency Management Agency requires that each jurisdiction adopt a multi-hazard mitigation plan on a 5-year cycle. An updated plan was produced with experts from various public safety disciplines throughout the county, as well as private businesses and citizens. Participating partner agencies include the following: the City of Sparks, the City of Reno, the Reno Sparks Indian Colony, Pyramid Lake Paiute Tribe, Truckee River Flood Management Project, North Lake Tahoe Fire Protection District, and Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District. Adoption of this plan is necessary to enable the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District to receive Federal Emergency Management Agency hazard mitigation grant funds. This is for all commission districts for possible action.
Thank you very much. Do you have anything else to add on this item?
I do not.
Okay. Look to board questions. Are there any board questions? We're pretty familiar with this. And Madam Clerk, any public comment?
There is none.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion on the resolution, please. Commissioner Vice Chair.
So moved.
All right, looking for a second. Thank you, Commissioner Andriella. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay. And
Looks like the vocast is not working. Can I have a verbal?
okay. Do you want to just do roll call?
Sure.
All right.
Chair Hill?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Garcia? Aye. Vice Chair Herman?
Aye.
Commissioner Andriola?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll now move into our final commissioners and fire chief announcements. Chief Edwards.
All right, number 10, commissioners or fire chiefs announcements, requests for information and topics for future agendas. A non-action item, no discussion among commissioners will take place on this item.
Do you have anything for us?
I do. I just want to wish everyone a very safe and happy Independence Day. Please remember that fireworks are illegal here in Washoe County, so please enjoy some of the commercial shows that are out there, and please take care of your pets.
Thank you. And Vice Chair Herman? Okay. Commissioner Garcia.
Happy birthday to Vice Chair Herman.
Oh, yes. July 4th is the birthday. Do you want us to embarrass you with a song?
Yes, I think
Let's
we should do
it.
Happy Birthday.
Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Vice Chair Herman. Happy birthday to you. Oh, that's great. Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. Commissioner Andriola. All right, Commissioner Clark.
Yes, I have a question for the District Attorney's Office. I was told a few moments ago that another member of this board was communicating with the fire chief. I'm not telepathic, so I didn't know that. Would that have been an open meeting law violation for that other commissioner to share that with the rest of the board so we would all be on the same page?
Jen Gustafson for the record. I'm not sure that I understand the scenario you're presenting.
The scenario is someone else on the board is having communications with the fire chief at the time and didn't share that information. Could that person have shared that information with other board members? I was chastised by another commissioner and a chair for not knowing something that she'd done with the fire chief. How am I supposed to know the communication other members are having with the fire chief? How can we do that legally?
Well, I can certainly talk to you about this offline, but as far as if you're asking about if a quorum, under the open meeting law, if a quorum of the board is talking about having discussions on board business, that could be a potential violation of the open meeting law. If a quorum of the board is meeting not during a public meeting and discussing something that this board has jurisdiction or control over.
So the chair can share with one person that she's having discussions with the fire chief about potential financing a fire station, construction of a fire station. How do we all know, how do other board members know that conversation's taking place? How are we supposed to know that?
It was in the chief's announcements. I'm happy to point that out.
Okay, very well. So those are my comments. I'm not telepathic. If people are having conversations and I'm supposed to know about it when I don't, I don't want to be called out about that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, now I'll move into our final public comment, Chief Edwards.
All right, item 11, public comment, a non-action item. Comment heard under this item will be limited to 3 minutes per person and may pertain to matters both on and off the Board of Fire Commissioners' agenda. The district will also hear public comment during individual action items, with comment limited to 3 minutes per person. Comments are to be made to the Board of Fire Commissioners as a whole.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk.
Cliff Lowe.
There's a
little visual aid for a little later. For the record, my name is Cliff Lowe. I want to pick up some loose ends here. First of all, to the new chief, through the chair, I and others look forward to working with you on various issues, including what you got a lot of, a snootful perhaps, of information regarding West Washoe Valley. It's safe to say that you inherited a number of issues, and presumably you've come into this position eyes wide open and realize that that's the case, as it may be. To the clerk, through the chair, I would ask that the minutes from this meeting include each person and what their comments were, rather than consolidated and saying, having a list of 10 people who spoke and then mixing their comment. These are the various things they talked about. That was done perhaps by this clerk's predecessor. But each person took the time and trouble to drive here, which is not a short drive, not as long as coming from Gerlach or Incline, but took the trouble to come here and speak individually. And I think each one should appear in the minutes with their comments. The volunteers. I want to again mention the volunteers and their role in things that have been talked about in the West Washoe Valley discussion, and that it is my understanding the volunteers, they might have been the Washoe Valley volunteers at the time, raised the money themselves to build the station, and many of them were physically involved in building that building. And this is after, I'm told, they made what is known as the Bowers Station, didn't have living quarters, that the volunteers put living quarters in there so that they could use it, and then they got kicked out. So I think we need to keep the volunteers in mind as we look at the solution that has been suggested. Regarding the Davis fire, it's been said that by the previous chief or one of his folks that it really wouldn't have made much difference if there'd been TM people at Station 30. And I just want to say that strains credulity. If somebody gotten there a minute earlier, you gotta, somebody being the fire crew had gotten there a minute earlier, 1 minute, you gotta think it would have made a difference. And it's painful to me personally that the district attorney or whoever it is who makes this decision is not further investigating who is responsible for that fire and looking at prosecution. It's been announced, it's basically been dropped. So, I'm running out of time here. What function of government is more basic, more important than public safety? This issue that you're hearing should not be Democratic or Republican or mixed, and I ask you to change this to that.
Thank you, Mr. Lowe.
There's nobody else signed in.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Well, thank you, everyone, for a great meeting. It's 11:45. We are adjourned.